Hello everyone, a very good morning to you, a very happy Saturday good morning. I'm here with my chai ka cup, my karare chane cup that you can buy from our merchandise, our store, and drinking my morning cup of tea. Very welcome to TV Newsance Live. This is a format that we want to do for some time now. We want to do every 6th or 7th episode as a live so that we can interact with our audience, we can take your questions. We can also introduce you guys to some of the stuff we do at Newslaundry, because I think a lot of you just come on YouTube, you watch our shows and then you go away from there. You don't come to our website, which also has a lot of interesting stuff for you guys to watch, listen, consume. So the idea of the live is to take your questions, of course, talk about some important news events of the week, and also help you guys discover more interesting stuff on Newslaundry, like our podcasts, our interviews and everything. So we're going to do a 20-minute conversation. I want to talk about 3 important things with you. One is the whole case in Tamil Nadu, where there were rumors and fake news spread about Bihari migrants. So I want to talk about that with you. What was the origin of that fake news, how it impacted people, and how some of the leading Hindi newspapers fed into that frenzy. The second thing is the trolling that Mohammad Zubair, who's a fact checker, he's with Alt News, he received this week, some very vile stuff being thrown at his way, and what that says about commentary on social media. And the third thing is, of course, the Asianet raids. So there are 3 very interesting media events that happened over the last 1 week, issues that involve the media. So we'll discuss that, and then after 20 minutes I'll take your questions and you can ask us anything you want about the show and or about Newslaundry. So thank you everyone for joining. Just in the beginning, hello to everyone. Hello to Prakhar, hello to Mohammad, hello to Suryendu and Hemant. Thank you guys for being here. So up early in the morning at 11. 11 is not very early, but still thank you for being there. Now, I think we can straight away, with the first 20 minutes, like I said, let's dedicate to these interesting news events that happened over the last 1 week. I was away on leave, by the way, for the past 10 days, and Abhinandan did the last episode, which you guys really loved. There's a lot of good positive commentary on it. Everyone loved the roast of Arnab Goswami. So thank you for liking that episode. Thank you for appreciating it. Abhinandan will be doing more hosting. We'll try and get him to do at least 1 episode every once in 2 months so that you get more of him. And of course, we'll do our lives. Now let's get straight into the things that I wanted to talk to you about. Before I do that, I just want to share this link with our friends on Twitter and Instagram so that more people can join us. You guys can also share this link with other people on your WhatsApp group so they can join us. Yeah, so give me 2 seconds. I'm just going to tweet, ask people to join us, and I'm going to put it on Instagram so that more people can join us and more people get to know about us. Done. So I've tweeted it, and can you guys? Okay. My team has sent it to me on WhatsApp, so then I can just also put it on Instagram so that more and more people can join us. Okay. 1 second. Sorry for taking so much time and being slow. Okay, one last thing. Instagram is always complicated because there's so much stuff you have to do on it. Done. Just 1 second to join. Okay, done. Please share the link with your friends and family also who can join us for this little chat. Now, over the last 1 week, there were a lot of rumors originating that migrants, specifically from the state of Bihar, were attacked in Tamil Nadu for speaking Hindi. There were rumors like 15 people have been murdered. There were rumors that there's mass exodus from there, and there is a mass sort of attack on anyone who's speaking Hindi and who's from Bihar. And there was a lot of frenzy around this. State governments of Tamil Nadu, Jharkhand and Bihar had to be activated to quell this fake news, quell this frenzy, quell this fear. And almost for 2 weeks, you had videos being circulated on social media that were unrelated to Tamil Nadu, but were incidences from Rajasthan or from other states of violence, and they were being circulated on social media as attacks on migrant workers in Tamil Nadu from Bihar. Now, we have a very detailed piece on newslaundry.com. It's called Reality of Tamil Nadu's Attack on Migrants and How Media Mainstreamed Fake News. It's a report by Pratik Goyal. You must read it because it tells you the origins of it, and it tells you which of some of our mainstream Hindi newspapers were responsible in adding fuel to this fire. So first up, what were the incidences firstly? Were there any incidences of violence in Tamil Nadu with relation to migrant workers? Were there any deaths? Were there any murders? What we found out that there were 3 incidences which cannot be called at all as, fatal attacks on Bihari migrants for speaking Hindi. The first incident was on February 19th. I'm reading this from my report on newslaundry.com, where Pawan Yadav, this migrant worker from Bihar, was attacked by another labourer from Jharkhand with a sickle, and he succumbed to his injuries. The accused in this case, who was from Jharkhand, was arrested by the police, and this was a case of rivalry. And so it was a case of 2 people, one from Bihar, one from Jharkhand, get into this, not a scuffle, but the one from Bihar was attacked by this migrant labour. And the police has said that it was a case of personal rivalry, and the accused migrant labour is no way connected to the narrative of Hindi speakers being attacked, obviously because he's from Jharkhand. So there's no question of him attacking, this other person from Bihar for speaking Hindi. The second incident that happened 1 week later was again of this migrant worker called Monu Ravidas, who was found dead in this place called Krishnagiri district. And according to the post-mortem, it was death by suicide. So this gentleman, this migrant worker, had killed himself, and his brothers Sonu and Tulsi, who shared a room with him, also told the police that he had been upset, he was a bit depressed, and he had closed the door and hanged himself with a towel. So these are 2 incidences of deaths which involved labour from outside of Tamil Nadu, both from Bihar in this case, but it did not involve anyone from Tamil Nadu. It did not involve anyone attacking them for speaking Hindi or for being migrant workers. So there were 2 deaths indeed, but it had nothing to do with this narrative of Bihari migrants being attacked for speaking Hindi. In both these cases, one was a case of personal rivalry, the other case was of death by suicide. The police acted promptly. In the first case, there was an arrest. In the second case, there was a post-mortem. There was also effort to speak to the people who were living with him. So there was clarity there. Now there was a third incident, which you can call an incident of racial attack or an attack with a sort of a regionalist colour. This happened in Vilupuram district. One person called Magimai Das, he boarded a train and he hurled regional slurs at North Indian co-passengers. There were co-passengers with him who were from the north. He hurled regional slurs at them. He also tried to assault them, and he used some abusive words for the Prime Minister. This was captured on a video. The person has been arrested, and this video then went viral basically. And on the back of this video, there was a lot of mass frenzy created that there's a widespread attack on Bihari migrants, and they're being attacked everywhere and they're being murdered. There was all sorts of news circulating on social media. And that one video was really the one case where you can say that yes, there was an attack on North Indian co-passengers with a regionalist kind of a intention. So these are the 3 basic incidents that happened. If you read our report on News Laundry, we have detailed it. And then from social media, what was very interesting is that after social media, this news or this frenzy around attacks you start seeing mainstream media amplifying it. Now, there's a piece in the News Minute, which is also a very good website. It's a very good news website. If you want any information on the South, it's a good place to go to get your news. They have a detailed piece called The Chronology of Disinformation about Bihari workers being attacked in Tamil Nadu. So, they also speak about the fact that a lot of the disinformation on social media started happening around February 20th and flared up just ahead of the Deputy Chief Minister Tejasvi Yadav's visit to Chennai for MK Stalin's birthday celebrations on March 1st. That is their finding, and they have gone into detail of how some of the Hindi press covered it. So, the first newspaper which put front page headlines was Hindustan, and they have a headline which says Barbar Tamil Nadu में हिंदी भाषी मजदूरों पे कातिलाना हमले. So, very clearly it's saying that there are murderous attacks on Hindi speakers in Tamil Nadu. This screenshot of this newspaper again went viral on social media. Dainik Bhaskar, which is another popular newspaper, they followed up this story also, and they put out a phone conversation with a migrant worker called Arman, who claimed that 15 people had been killed. Now, see, one must realize that when there is rumor mongering and when there is mass frenzy, a lot of things just, people hear something, they don't corroborate it, they pass that information on, sometimes they exaggerate that information and pass it on. So, it's possible that Arman was just hearing these things on his WhatsApp group, or he was, hearing this from other people. These are unsubstantiated things he was hearing. He didn't say that I saw someone getting murdered. He didn't say that, my relatives were attacked or murdered. So, it is not first-hand information. He has just said this, and the newspaper carried it as a claim. This went online, and again, this is a huge claim to make that 15 people have been murdered in any state. If there's murder of 15 people on the basis of, religious lines or communal lines or regional lines in this case, or linguistic lines in this case, it's a big thing and it can spread panic. So, the big mistake I feel here is that if Dainik Bhaskar had met Arman and spoke to him, they should have asked him कि भाई आपका proof क्या है, आपने खुद से देखा या नहीं, ये कहाँ से information आ रही है. Because social media पे कुछ भी चल सकता है, WhatsApp पे कुछ भी चल सकता है, लेकिन जब आप एक journalist हैं और आप एक story publish कर रहे हैं, you have to check your sources. Then they should have asked the police that we are getting this information. Have you found out anything like this? So, multiple people they should have checked with before putting something so inflammatory on their website. Because immediately when a newspaper puts it, more people are likely to believe it. Because they will say, अरे दैनिक भास्कर में आया है, हिंदुस्तान के फ्रंट पेज में आया है, तो सच है, ये हो रहा है. और एक मास फ्रेंजी बिल्कुल फिर जैसे कि हिंदुस्तान के केस में उनका फ्रंट पेज was circulated on WhatsApp, on social media, and then suddenly everyone is scared, everyone wants to flee. And that is what seems to have happened in this case. Lot of people just were after social media because they saw it on mainstream newspapers and Hindi mainstream newspapers which were reaching out to which probably a lot of the Bihari migrants were consuming. There's mass panic. Our report also says that there was a report in Punjab Kesari again where this 15 rumored deaths made it to the report. Again, these are rumors. And making a big claim like 15 people have been killed should have been backed with some facts. It can't be कि किसी ने बोल दिया तो हमने छाप दिया. It has to be based on police version. You should also then make that effort to go see if if people have died, then obviously they would be they would the region. They would have been postmortems. They would have been taken to the hospital. So you have to make multiple checks at hospitals, at police stations, at district administration. You have to speak to multiple people, even within migrant community, ask them, have you seen a murder yourself, or you're hearing this? Where are you hearing this from? What is the source? So I think overall this was a case of bad reporting by some of our Hindi newspapers. And one more, of course, Op India, which I don't consider, I don't expect much out of them. So they carried their own ki Talibani style attack ho gaya and this and that. That is expected of them, and I think we shouldn't be surprised with that. But when responsible newspapers like Hindustan and Dainik Bhaskar do something like this, we expect better out of them. We expect them to clarify what they put out. We expect them to do more research, more due diligence when they publish something like this, because they are respected, they are read, consumed by a lot of people. So I think that is something, an important lesson for us to learn, everyone in the journalistic community, when there are rumor mongering, when there is a lot of inflammatory news that can scare people, that can create more divisions, you have to be very careful of what you're putting out. Now in this case, there's also a YouTuber called Manisha Kashyap, जिनका चैनल है सच तक न्यूज़. और अगर आप मनीष कश्यप को देखें तो उनके बहुत फॉलोअर्स हैं. इनफैक्ट आई जस्ट गो ऑन हिज चैनल. इट्स अ वेरी पॉपुलर चैनल ऑन यूट्यूब and he airs a lot of news on various issues. How many subscribers does he have? Let's see. Yeah, it has 6.38 million subscribers. That's a lot of people. So this channel also aired a lot of unsubstantiated stuff, and I will read from some of it so that you get to know कि कैसी कैसी headlines जा रही थी सच तक न्यूज़ में. 6.3 million सब्सक्राइबर्स को. सो इतने सारे आपके फॉलोअर्स हैं और इतने सारे लोग आपको पढ़ रहे हैं, सुन रहे हैं, पढ़ नहीं रहे हैं, सुन रहे हैं, देख रहे हैं, तो आपका कुछ रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी होना चाहिए. यू कांट जस्ट पुट आउट एनीथिंग विदाउट सब्सटैंशिएटिंग इट. एंड सो आई एम जस्ट ट्राइंग टू, लॉट ऑफ द वीडियोज हैव नाउ बीन पुल्ड डाउन. But Mohammad Zubair, who is a fact checker with Alt News, he's taken some screenshots on his Twitter, and I'm reading from the screenshots that he took. जैसे एक वीडियो है, और इंटरेस्टिंगली ये वीडियो के जो थंबनेल्स हैं काफ़ी बात तो ये कर रहे हैं बिहारी माइग्रेंट की कि कैसे उन्हें पीटा गया तमिलनाडु में, लेकिन कुछ कुछ जो थंबनेल्स हैं वो अनरिलेटेड हैं, राजस्थान से हैं, कोई और इंसिडेंट्स के हैं. तो हेडलाइंस उनकी ऐसी है कि तमिलनाडु में बिहारी मजदूरों पर हो रहे हमले का जिम्मेदार कौन. 3.2 लाख व्यूज़. तमिलनाडु में बिहारी मजदूरों को पीटे जाने पर भड़के मनीष कश्यप. 1.4 लाख. 7 लाख व्यूज़ है. तमिलनाडु में बिहारी मजदूरों पर हो रहे हमले पर फूटा मनीष कश्यप का गुस्सा. 7 लाख व्यूज़. दैट्स गॉट 49 लाख व्यूज़ मिले हैं तमिलनाडु में बिहारी मजदूरों की हत्या को लेकर तमिलनाडु जा रहे मनीष कश्यप. देखो उन्होंने सारा सीधा हेडलाइन में बोले हत्या को लेकर. अब बिहारी मजदूरों की हत्या को लेकर बोलना एक बहुत बड़ा हेडलाइन है आपको डालने के लिए. आप ऐसे अनसब्सटैंशिएटेड वे में नहीं डाल सकते. लेकिन उन्होंने डाला और उन्हें 49 लाख व्यूज़ मिले हैं इससे. और उन्होंने काफ़ी प्रोवोकेटिव वीडियोज़ बनाए हैं अपनी रील्स जैसे. और मुझे लगता है ये एक बहुत ट्रेंड चल रहा है यूट्यूब में. काफ़ी कंटेंट क्रिएटर्स हैं जो बहुत अच्छा काम कर रहे हैं, और काफ़ी कंटेंट क्रिएटर्स हैं जो व्यूज़ के लिए जितना उनको लगता है किसी न्यूज़ को हम दिखाएं और उसको जितना सेंसेशनल करें हमें उतने व्यूज़ मिलें, तो वो सिंगल माइंडेड एजेंडा व्यूज़ के लिए कुछ भी दिखा देते हैं. जैसे कि इस केस में मनीष कश्यप जी ने किया, और इनके अगेंस्ट FIR भी फाइल हुई है क्योंकि उन्होंने रूमर मॉन्गरिंग करी है. लेकिन आप सोचिए अगर 49 लाख लोग देख रहे हैं, 7 लाख लोग देख रहे हैं, दैट्स अ लॉट ऑफ व्यूज़. एंड वो इंस्टेंटली पैनिक क्रिएट हो जाएगा क्योंकि यूट्यूब से लोग फिर सबसे ज़्यादा डेटा बताता है हमें कि बहुत सारे लोग न्यूज़ यूट्यूब पे ही कंज्यूम करते हैं. अब इंडिया में सबसे ज़्यादा न्यूज़ कंज्यूम होता है यूट्यूब पे, फिर व्हाट्सएप पे. ये कुछ डेटा आया था. सो इफ़ पीपल आर वॉचिंग दिस इट कैन स्प्रेड instant panic, which is what happened in this case also. And so much so that 3 state governments had to come together. State government of Tamil Nadu had to issue advisory, repeated statements, take to Twitter, have helplines. People, even the governments in Bihar and Jharkhand had to kind of do their fact finding and everything. So everyone was in panic mode for a while. And this is very important कि जब आप YouTube में news consume करें, आपको ये देखना चाहिए कि वो एक जर्नलिस्टिकली साउंड ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है या नहीं है. क्या ये कंटेंट क्रिएशन बस इसलिए हो रहा है कि सेंसेशनलाइज करके आपको व्यूज़ मिल जाएं. थंबनेल्स में ऐसी ऐसी चीज़ें लिखी हैं कि बहुत बड़ा चढ़ा के कुछ लिखा हुआ है. तो ऐसे कंटेंट से थोड़ा इसको कंज्यूम इट विद अ पिंच ऑफ सॉल्ट. बी अ लिटिल केयरफुल अबाउट दैट. But I think this is a very important trend that we are seeing in India, where you have YouTubers who are also dabbling in news, but they don't follow any of the rigor of news. That means fact checking, corroboration, asking multiple people for their versions. If you're accusing, if you're saying that by a huge number migrants are being killed, you have to reach out to state governments, you have to reach out to police, you have to give specifics. It can't just be a rant and rant for the sake of views. So that is the short my little overview on what happened there. After this, we also carried a report yesterday on, actually Wire has carried this report by Alishan Jafri, and we have also republished it from them, about some of the abuse that has come in the way of the Alt News co-founder and fact checker Mohammad Zubair. Some very vile stuff being said to him. Zubair on Twitter was really very vocal about this fake news being spread in Tamil Nadu. He was pointing out at people like Manisha also. He was pointing out at newspapers also. He was pointing out at on social media how old videos were being circulated to say that this is happening now in Tamil Nadu. Unrelated old videos. So he was pretty vocal on Twitter at least about this, and then he's gotten a lot of threats, some very crass comments being passed at him. People literally talking about, giving him akhlaq style justice, stuff like that. So that is another thing that is happening on social media, which a lot of journalists today have to face. And I think especially if you're a journalist from the minority community, you are open to more targeted commentary on your religion, targeted commentary कि तुम्हारे साथ किस स्टाइल में तुम्हारे साथ क्या होना चाहिए. तो ये एक इशू, और इसमें बहुत सैड बात ये है कि एक रीजनल लाइंस के ऊपर एक फेक न्यूज़ हुई. The fake news was that people were being attacked on along regional lines, around linguistic lines, and then people who were fact checking it were being targeted along communal lines. So that is the state. This is a very important episode for all of us to learn from. One is that we must consume news which is credible. So newspapers, हालांकि यहाँ पे हिंदी newspapers ने responsible role नहीं अदा किया, लेकिन फिर भी हमें better, मतलब YouTube या WhatsApp या social media पे एकदम से भरोसा नहीं करना चाहिए. Digital media को consume करें, especially like you have websites like the News Minute, you have websites like Boom Live जो fact check करते हैं, websites like Alt News, Newslaundry. डिजिटल मीडिया में बहुत रिस्पॉन्सिबली इसे कवर किया गया. सो यू मस्ट कंज्यूम डिजिटल मीडिया, यू मस्ट कंज्यूम मोर एंड मोर बिकॉज यू आर ऑन योर फोन. सो यू मस्ट लुक एट मोर एंड मोर न्यूज़ ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस दैट टेक दैट टाइम. वी आर नॉट इन द रेस ऑफ ब्रेकिंग न्यूज़ बट ट्राई एंड पुट आउट एक्यूरेट इन्फॉर्मेशन. Second lesson for journalistic organizations like Dainik Bhaskar, Hindustan, they should have corroborated it because they should know that they have such a huge reach. These are very newspapers with massive reach. मैसिव रिसोर्सेज, उनके पास रिपोर्टर्स हैं इतने सारे. तो उन्होंने एकदम से ये डालना एक माइग्रेंट के कहने पे, एक अरमान करके जिन्होंने बोला कि 15 लोग मर गए, एक ही बंदे के कहने पे आपने इतना कुछ छाप दिया, इतना कुछ डर का माहौल हो गया. सो दैट इज समथिंग दैट दे शुड बी केयरफुल अबाउट. एंड ऑल्सो आई थिंक व्हेन अ न्यूज़पेपर मेक्स अ मिस्टेक लाइक दिस, इट इज़ इनकम्बेंट ऑन देम टू अपोलोजाइज एंड पुट अ करेक्शन ऑन द फ्रंट पेज ऑल्सो, सो दैट आपका फेक न्यूज़ तो वायरल हो गया, लेकिन आपका करेक्शन भी वायरल होना चाहिए. अगर आपको पता चलता है कि अच्छा हमसे गलती हुई, हमने गलत रिपोर्टिंग करी है, तो आपको क्लियरली करेक्शन डालना चाहिए फ्रंट पेज पे, और हर सोशल मीडिया चैनल में डालना चाहिए, बोलना चाहिए कि दिस वाज अ मिस्टेकन थिंग, बिकॉज वो 15 मर्डर्स बहुत वायरल हो गया था. द फैक्ट दैट 15 पीपल हैव बीन मर्डर्ड. So if that has gotten viral, it is a duty of newspapers who got that wrong to also put out very correctly, clearly that we got it wrong and we apologize and this is the correct information, so that more and more people can get that. Now the other thing that happened, and then afterwards it's already 11:28, so I'll very quickly touch on the case of Asianet News also, which made a lot of news. I don't know how many of you people follow Asianet. It's a very prominent channel in Kerala. It's a legacy brand. It's one of the oldest channels, respectable. It's currently, the ownership is linked to Rajiv Chandrasekhar, who's a BJP MP. And there was now Asianet, Students Federation of India, which is linked to the Communist Party of India. It's a left-wing student organization, protested against Asianet, barged into their office, and on the basis of complaint by Asianet employees, उनके against FIR फाइल हो गई है, और एशियानेट के ऑफिसेज में रेड भी हुई. अब इस सब का कंट्रोवर्सी क्या है? बेसिकली इन नवंबर एशियानेट, माय टीम इज अ बिट अपसेट ऑफ ड्रैगिंग. इफ यू कैन हियर चेयर्स बीइंग ड्रैग्ड, इट्स बिकॉज पीपल आर अपस्टेयर्स हैविंग फन, ड्रिंकिंग कॉफी एंड डूइंग गिद्दा, बट वी आर हियर in the basement working very hard for all of you. So anyway, so what was the controversy? The controversy around Asianet is that in November, they were doing a series on narcotics and drug issues, and talking about how this is becoming a problem, drug consumption among the youth. In that, they aired a supposed interview of a young girl in 9th standard who said that she was given drugs by her classmates and she got addicted to it, and after she got addicted to it, the students who had given her drugs were also mentally torturing her and physically abusing her, and this was their report. And first the left's reaction was कि बिल्कुल fake news है, इसमें कुछ सही नहीं है. सेकेंड रिएक्शन गवर्नमेंट का था कि हमें पता है ऐसा एक केस है और उसमें पॉक्सो का केस है. Remember, the student is in 9th standard, so she is underage, so any form of abuse would result in POXO. And what the problem, what happened in this case was when they were airing, the interview of that girl was staged, so it was not the real girl. They had staged the interview, that means they had gotten another minor to give that interview. They had used audio of the girl who they had originally reported on in the beginning, sometime in July, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just check. Yeah, in August. So इस केस में उन्होंने एशियानेट ने अगस्त में भी रिपोर्टिंग करी थी, where they spoke to the actual girl. So they used bits and pieces from the August report. They patched it up with this November reenactment where they got a minor girl to act it out, and they put this out and they didn't tell their audience कि ये reenactment है. So this is ethically not very good sound journalistic practice. One, because you are dealing with an underage girl, so in any case laws are very strict. When there's a case of abuse involving a minor person, you cannot disclose her identity in any way, you cannot give out any details about her. These are very strict Supreme Court guidelines. So first in the August case itself, they should not have interviewed the girl and aired it, because that can make her vulnerable. People can recognize who she is, maybe they get to know from her voice or even from her silhouette sometimes, or basic gestures, maybe people around her can get to know. So you have to be very careful about that. एंड सेकेंडली, अगर वो किसी माइनर से रीइनैक्ट करे तो बहुत प्रॉब्लमेटिक हो जाता है, क्योंकि आप न्यूज़ कर रहे हो, कोई मूवी नहीं है, कोई चाइल्ड एक्टर तो है नहीं वो, और इतने सेंसिटिव इशू में आप किसी से रीइनैक्ट करा रहे हो. यू आर मेकिंग देम टॉक अबाउट अब्यूज़ एंड यू आर नॉट टेलिंग योर ऑडियंस इट्स अ रीइनैक्टमेंट, सो इट्स एथिकली नॉट करेक्ट. हैविंग सेड दैट, any issues of ethics, any issues of wrong journalistic practices have to be handled not by raids. I think it is excessive police action, because a lot of people, reenactments is something that is sadly a reality in television news. We have seen in the Shraddha case, we have seen in the Arushi case, we have seen in many of these, even the Hyderabad rape case, I remember, where this young woman was murdered and gang raped. Television channels reenacting the whole thing. So sometimes they write it's a reenactment, but it is still done to sensationalize a crime. It's done to get eyeballs, and it can be very crass. So this is a problem. I personally don't like reenactments on news, because I don't understand why you have to dramatize a horrific crime to get people to feel about it. You're not doing a documentary. Doing a documentary is a very different thing. Doing a fiction based on a news event is a different thing. But when it's pure news, dramatizing something is just, to my mind, very unethical. But unethical practices have to be dealt with by questioning the organization, having pressure from audiences on the organization, having civil society groups question the channel that is doing that. Police raids is excessive. It is because then it's a political color, because many channels do this, but not every channel is getting raided. If Asianet is getting raided, it's because they have a tough relationship with the left government, because they are seen to be close to the BJP, and the left is in power there. So we are using a mistake that a channel committed with, as an excuse to sort of carry out police action, police raids. So I don't think the answer to that is police raids at all. It should be dealt with by audiences. Asianet's audience should reach out to them and say, this is wrong, what you have done. We do not support this. Journalist community should pressure Asianet and say that, no, I think you should apologize. You have put a reenactment, you have not explained it's a reenactment. And of course, civil society members. So it's very important in such cases for all of us to engage with the news that we watch. And that's what our goal is at TV Newsance. we don't want you to be passive consumers of news, that you keep consuming news or you stop consuming news or then you turn off something when you're not happy with it. When news is actively spreading hate, disinformation, sensationalizing, being crass, it's very important for you as news consumers to engage with that, to push back, to tell journalists. And today it's so easy, right? You can just tweet at them, you can drop a comment, in there, or write a letter to them, write a mail to, letter to koi nahi likhta hai, write a mail to them, drop comments, reach out to the editors politely with no abuses, politely tell them that this is wrong, we don't support it. And of course, you should tune off when a channel is completely beyond repair. अगर कुछ चैनल्स इनका काम ही है, वो न्यूज़ का काम कम है, उनका ड्रामा टीआरपी का काम ज़्यादा है, तो उनको आप स्विच ऑफ कर दें और वेबसाइट्स देखें, डिजिटल मीडिया पे जाएं, क्रेडिबल न्यूज़ ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस को फॉलो करें, उनको सपोर्ट करें. इन द तमिलनाडु केस वी हैव अ रिपोर्ट, News Minute has a report. Both News Minute and News Laundry are organizations that take subscriptions. For subscriptions, you become a member, you have perks. For example, if you take our subscription, you get to access paywall content. We have a lot of interviews, like we have an interview with Amritpal, we had an interview with Siddiqui Kappan, we had an interview with Ram Guha. So all these interviews are behind the paywall. Once you pay to keep news free, you can access it behind the paywall and you can consume it. We have a weekly podcast called NL Hafta, जिसमें न्यूज़ लॉन्ड्री की पूरी टीम, रमन कृपाल, who's our managing editor, अभिनंदन सेकरी, who you're very familiar with, who's our CEO, me, Jayashri, who's a senior person on our desk, and usually we have guests. We sit and discuss the news events of the week. This week on Hafta, we have discussed Asianet in detail, and we have discussed attack on Bihari migrants, attack, fake news on attack on Bihari migrants in Tamil Nadu in detail. So you can listen to it. It's almost a 2-hour long conversation. It's going to be out soon. You can check out Chota Hafta. It's already out. It's already out. So we'll put a link here. The full conversation is 2 hours. We have guests also. We have one guest from Kunur, who was very gracious enough, Leena, to come and talk about the Asianet controversy. We have Jayashri from Tamil Nadu. She's based in Chennai. She spoke about this whole, migrant labor, fake news. We have Anand Vardhan, who's a contributing guest who's a contributing editor of sorts with News Laundry. He writes for us. He writes columns. He's appears on Hafta. He gave us perspective on the fears among Bihari migrants, because a lot of them do face regional discrimination, racial discrimination. I don't know if you can say racial, but linguistic discrimination. So he's given that perspective, why that fear spreads so quickly, because they are routinely attacked, or they have, there are slurs thrown at them for their identity. So all that we have discussed in detail in Hafta. You can check our NL Hafta out. It's a weekly podcast. It's only for subscribers. So if you subscribe, you can catch in on all the news of the week with some fun conversations and very special guests. So that, my point was to say that you should pay to keep news free. You should subscribe to News Laundry, because not only in this atmosphere of fake news, division, hate, sensationalism, you can support media which is trying to work very hard. We do work very hard, trying to work very hard to bring you accurate news, correct news, to engage you on important issues of our times. And we're doing it with no advertisements at all. We don't take any advertisements on YouTube. We don't take any advertisements on our website. Completely 100% Shuddh Desi Ghee, ad-free news platform hai hamara. So if you like us, you can support our work and we can become stronger, we can grow. I wish we had enough resources and we had a reporter in Tamil Nadu who could have actually gone and really spoken to the migrants there and understood what was really happening on the ground. We were unable to do a ground report there, but nevertheless we did telephonic conversations and stuff like that, and we got you a report. But if you support us, we can actually, because reporting costs money, right? अगर हम दिल्ली में based हैं, या अगर हम किसी को बॉम्बे से भी तमिलनाडु में भेजना चाहते हैं, या अगर हम चेन्नई में एक ऑफिस होना चाहते हैं, तो this costs resources, it costs money. And the more subscribers we have, the more we'll be able to grow and present to you news from different parts of the country. So that is our mission and our motto. So please subscribe to News Laundry. It's very important that you do it. There are also special perks if you're a subscriber. For example, we have a very special little meetup with our subscribers on March 15th at 7:30 p.m. It's called NL Baithak. The format is कि न्यूज़ लॉन्ड्री के एडिटर्स NL बैठक में आएंगे और जो हमारे गेम चेंजर सब्सक्राइबर्स हैं, let me tell you game changer costs, I'll just tell you how many subscribe. Okay, so we have a category which is disruptor for quarterly, and then disruptor which is yearly, and we have game changers which is 10,000 yearly, and there's a 2,000 off right now, so you can become a yearly game changer subscriber and you get all the benefits, like you get access to news shows, you get laptop stickers, you get fridge magnets, you get to be part of our hangouts. You know, every time the News Laundry team does an event, you get to be part of it. You get a tote bag, car sticker. You get to be part of NL Baithak, which is basically what is happening on March 15th at 7:30 p.m, where all the editors will be on a Zoom call, all the team leads will be on a Zoom call with our game changer subscribers, and we take all your questions, your suggestions, how can we make News Laundry better. It's a free-flowing chat. Sometimes we just talk about some news event. Sometimes people want to ask us questions about, you know, our opinion on various things. So game changer subscribers are very important to us, and we feel it's important to be answerable to them, and we also feel it's important to engage with them as a community. So it's not कि आपने subscribe किया और फिर आप भूल गए, या जैसे Netflix में subscribe करके फिर आप जब कोई अच्छी series आती है तभी आप देखते हो, otherwise you don't care about who is the team lead in Netflix. But the point of subscriptions at News Laundry is that we want you to be part of our community of people who care about news, care about independent media, care about important issues. So it's a community of people that can get together, effect some sort of change, talk about important things, and for that we have this Baithak session where we really take questions from you, take your suggestions, and many times we get story suggestions from our game changer subscribers. So when they tell us, please follow this story, we make it a point that we do it. So that is it. That is one brief announcement that I wanted to do, and those were the main issues. Now I can take questions from all of you because we have half an hour more. Don't want to bore you with more of me talking.
I've sent you a few questions.
I have a few questions. So, okay. So, Aditya says, don't you think DMK having its own media channels, chances are more related news might have been suppressed? So, politicians owning news channels is a problem, whether it's DMK or BJP or Congress, because a lot of the news that you get there will be slanted, or even if it's not slanted, it will never question DMK in the way that it should, because in this case, I'm sure that could be report on the DMK's response time. They could have been, there were some people, I think it was Ram only from News Minute, he works with the News Minute, and he tweeted out that the response time of the DMK government was a bit lax. They should have been more quick when rumours were spreading. They should have gone on the ground. They should have had, Hindi helplines, Hindi announcements, more effort to reach out to the Hindi speakers and calm them, because there are a lot of migrants there who work very hard to build the state. So they should have acted fast. So I do think that criticism, that kind of criticism you will not find on DMK channel. They'll say कि हाँ तो बड़ा अच्छा काम किया. But news suppress इतना scale में नहीं हो सकती. अगर 15 deaths हुए हैं और see Bihar का state will not be quiet about it. Jharkhand state will not. So there will be pressure from states also. So I don't think you can suppress such a large scale event if 15 people have been murdered. News comes out. You would have had the whole national media there. You would have had so. It is difficult to suppress that information, I think. It will come out. It's bound to come out if it's at such a scale. What are your views on Amritpal Singh and government action against him? I find so I have yet to watch Atul's interview because I was on leave. I think this whole thing of Khalistan is just, it's absolute nonsense. I don't think someone can just come and claim that I represent the entire Punjab, and I can speak for all the Punjabis. I myself have quite a few, I've at least studied in Chandigarh, so I did my college in Chandigarh, so I have Sikh friends, I have friends from Punjab, and I know from elders in that state what a dark period the 80s were, how difficult it had been for the state, how it set them back, and I know the disdain that a lot of people there have for any kind of rhetoric on Khalistan and stuff like that. Maybe in certain pockets, certain areas, there's some young people who are taken in by such kind of rhetoric, but I don't think it's a popular sentiment. And I think men like Amritpal, you really need to see who's propping them up. Why is he being propped up? Why has he come out of nowhere? The reports I read, at least, that he has absolutely come out of nowhere. And Deep Sidhu's family also has said that we don't, who is this guy who's come and taken over our child's legacy? So we don't know him and we don't trust him. And I think investigations should be done on who exactly this person is, who's propping him up, who's benefiting from this division. And it's very dangerous in Punjab for this narrative, because we know, personally I think we know that the state's youth have grappled with a problem of drug addiction. Drug addiction is not just something limited to Punjab, but in border areas, at least there, we have in fact done a report on it when we were reporting on Punjab elections, of how terrible it is, how many young, children, young men within one family, how they have lost sometimes 2 sons. So a potent, a place where you already have this problem and then you have extremist ideology, it can be very dangerous and very potent, something very, very terrible. So I don't think much of him. I have to watch the interview with Atul and see what exactly he has said. I think there should be investigations on who this person is, and I don't think such rhetoric should be entertained at all, or should be propped up, or should be given any space. And I don't think he represents everyone there. I don't think he represents the interests of all Punjabis. He can't just say that I represent everyone. Okay, so Yahya Hassan says, "Hi Manisha, how are you? What is your reaction about the Gujarat verdict against BBC?" Yeah, I just read that news yesterday, and I think today morning it came. I found it very strange. I couldn't understand how they were going to implement this. I'll say, for the benefit of our viewers, I'll tell you exactly what was said. Let me just pull the news report out so that I don't misquote anyone or anything. So, Gujarat Assembly passes a resolution against BBC for the 2002 documentary, and they say that the documentary, right, I'm just trying to find the exact thing. Yeah. So, after passing the resolution unanimously, the speaker said that attempt by BBC is reprehensible, condemned. But I don't know what do you mean by passing, what are you going to do, because it was aired in the UK, it was done by a division outside of India. So, I don't know how a resolution in Gujarat Assembly can impact them. But I think what is something important to notice, and not many people have talked about it, that we're talking about foreign media, foreign journalists, but BBC has a lot of Indian journalists working there. In fact, it's mostly Indians. So, you have a Gujarat BBC in Gujarati. I met some of the journalists there when I was covering the elections, very bright young men, and I met 2 people. They're doing some very good work in Gujarat. So, rhetoric like this can make the BBC Gujarati wing or the channel there very vulnerable, because there is an atmosphere being created that somehow you're anti-national, you're doing wrong things. So, Indian journalists who are working for BBC Gujarati can find themselves to be a bit vulnerable. They can find themselves being tarnished. So, I think that is something that it may impact BBC journalists working in language press. But other than that, I don't know how a Gujarat Assembly passing a resolution against a documentary that was made by a foreign entity. It's got nothing to do with BBC India, it's BBC World Service. It was aired in the UK. So, I don't know, other than just putting this, bluster out कि हम दिखा दें उनको, सिखा देंगे सबक. Apart from just making it like a strong arm tactic kind of thing, I don't know how it's going to impact BBC. How to verify if a particular video or photo are of the place and time as suggested by the sender? Is there any app, or how can one do it? Please explain that. So, often you can use Google images. You can reverse search images and find out. I think on WhatsApp groups, so Alt News and Boom Live, I think they do a good job of, whenever there's something viral happening on social media, they do check. So these are 2 good websites, और हिंदी में भी करते हैं वो लोग, तो आप हिंदी में भी जाके instantly check कर सकते हैं, कुछ viral हो रहा है तो वो लोग उसको करते हैं. आप Google सर्च कर सकते हैं images का, You can also check news. So it is likely that when like if a video is going viral, if you Google basics about it, you'll get to know, you'll see the video search that will give you options on similar kind of videos, and you'll get the date there. So you can search the image on Google, or you can search with some keywords on YouTube to see whether it's new or old. And that are two ways in which I usually check. And Google search images, that can also help you. Fifth question is by I don't know who, because the name is not there, but it says how many audiences you can attract when most of Indian population can't bother to search Newslaundry in YouTube. हाँ, ये थोड़ा sad है. हम कैसे attract कर सकते हैं लोगों को अपनी तरफ, which is why we need you. So you guys need to spread our work. Whenever you like something Newslaundry does, you should share it on WhatsApp, अपने सारे WhatsApp groups में, अपने सारे uncle, aunties, चाचा, मामी, मौसा, भैया, दीदी, सबको तुम bombard कर दो YouTube से. So if you like something we do, please share it. It's especially very important that you share it, because we don't have we're not marketing. A lot of people buy likes, they buy, I don't know, they do a lot of things, digital marketing and all that. We're not doing that because we want organic reach, and more importantly, we want people who engage with our content and who subscribe to us. So there's no point for us to just get numbers for the sake of it. So we are relying on a community of people who come together, who care about news, who like our stuff. So if you like us, subscribe. If you're a student, if you're not earning yet and you can't subscribe, you don't have the money, then please do it when you start earning. Or then you can help us by spreading the word. So please share our stuff on WhatsApp. It's very important. Like our videos, because the more you like on YouTube, एक बहुत सिंपल एल्गोरिदम है जो हमें मेरी टीम हमेशा मुझे बताती है कि जब जितना लोग आपके वीडियो को लाइक करेंगे उतने ही ज़्यादा लोग ये वीडियो को देखेंगे, क्योंकि यूट्यूब का एल्गोरिदम ऐसे ही वर्क करता है. उनको लगता है कि ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा लोग लाइक करें तो ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा लोग देखना चाहते हैं. तो सपोज़ मेरे वीडियो में 50,000 लाइक्स आ गए तो ज़्यादा लोगों को ये वीडियो सजेस्ट होगा. अगर मेरे वीडियो में सिर्फ 10,000 लाइक आए, 10 लाख लाइक आ जाए तो आई विल बी ऑन द टॉप ऑफ द वर्ल्ड. बट इफ इट्स ओनली 10,000 लाइक, इट विल नॉट गेट सजेस्टेड टू पीपल, बिकॉज यूट्यूब में आप वीडियोज़ कैसे देते हैं, आपको सजेशंस आते हैं, है ना. आप स्क्रॉल करते हो, आप एक वीडियो देखते हो, फिर आपको एक और सजेशन आता है कि अच्छा आपको ये पसंद है तो आपको ये भी पसंद होगा. सो अगर आप हमारे वीडियोज़ को लाइक करेंगे तो ज़्यादा ये सजेशंस आएंगे हमारे वीडियोज़ के, और सबसे ज़्यादा ट्रैफिक हमें सजेशन से ही आता है. Lot of our videos that have done well, like the episode on Adani that we did, it did really well. It crossed 500K, and we noticed that most of our traffic came because it was suggested to people. और उस वीडियो में likes भी बहुत हैं. तो like करना हमारा वीडियो बहुत important है. Please like our videos. The more you like it, the more people will watch it, and that's how we can attract viewers. That's the only way we can do it. We can't do anything else. So we are relying on you. The ball's in your court. Now I'll just take some random questions. Thank you so much guys for being here. Okay, you've sent a few more. Okay, first we'll take these questions and I'll take. How is NL viewer funded when you have investments from Omidyar? So you can read our report. It's, wait, we have a report called Who Owns Your Media. So this is not like, it's not like they're funding us, it's equity. So they have invested in us for equity, and it's an impact investment, and you can read about it very clearly on our own website. When we first got our first investments, we put that out, and let me just pull out the piece on our, so that I can just tell you the exact, yeah. So we have a piece on July 2021, Who Owns Newslaundry, and there we have clearly explained who are the owners. There's Abhinandan Sekhri with 24.01%, there's Prashant Serene with 24.0%, Rupak Kapoor with 24.0%. So this is the majority. So these are, and all, but the three of them basically worked, they have another company called Small Screen, which has made shows like Highway on My Plate. Newslaundry was first incubated by Small Screen. So when I first joined Newslaundry in 2014, we were like 4 people sitting, in a small corner in the Small Screen office. So Small Screen was a production house. It did a lot of things like Highway on My Plate, the show, which is very popular. And Rupak, Prashant and Abhinandan are co-founders there. And then Madhu, of course, came on board for Newslaundry. And we were incubated by them, but we couldn't just be incubated by Small Screen for the rest of our life. So we got investments from Omidyar. They're at 17.11, and this doesn't mean that they have controlling stakes. They don't get to decide on our content or whatever. That investment is meant for us to scale up our operations. So if we have 4 people, we were able to become 50. We were able to get reporters. We were able to have our own studio. We were able to do what we were doing, but at a bigger scale, and move away from Small Screen, which was incubating us. So that is the purpose of that investment. It doesn't mean कि वो हमें रोज पैसे दे रहे हैं या they are running our operations या donation है. That investment also was to help us increase our subscribers. So if we started on the subscription model right from 2014. We were one of the first people to say we are not going to take any advertisements, and we are going to rely totally on subscriptions. So those investments that we got, and there are others also. So you can see there's Digital Media Lab at 4.2, there's Vikram Lal at 3.78. So you can see the whole shareholding pattern. But these investments were meant to help us better our operations, improve the scale. And also when we decided to go down that subscription path, it involves getting an app, having a payment gateway, all this stuff. So with that investment, we were able to scale up and get the subscriptions that we could, which is completely sustaining our journalism. So that is what you have to understand about investments. It is very different from ownership कि जैसे कि किसी एक एंटिटी ने हमें खरीद लिया पूरा होल से लॉक स्टॉक एंड बैरल एंड नाउ दे आर डिसाइडिंग कि हम कैसा कंटेंट करेंगे, वैसा कुछ भी नहीं है. And in fact, if you read the piece, we have written in it that the Omidyar Network is an impact fund that is invested in Scroll and the Ken. And the purpose of the funding is to help Newslaundry explore innovative approaches and drive transparency and higher standards in the media landscape in India. It hopes the learnings from Newslaundry's journey to develop a new business model for independent news production will act as a blueprint for other organizations to follow, develop and spread. So that investment was specifically for us to go down the subscription path, improve on our content, scale up, do the innovation that we need to be a completely ad-free subscriber funded platform. I hope that answers your questions. Please read this Who Owns Your Media, and in fact, Shwet, if you can just put it on our thing. So you can, you can read other stuff also. Who Owns Your Media is a series where we talk about media investments. So that is it. We are very transparent about it. We are very open about it. And that is the difference. Where subscriptions come in, where investments come in, these are different things. And what is the purpose of an investment that has come in? What have we done with it? What are we responsible for? And of course, the subscription model that we have set ourselves on. I do think that, look, subscription models can be critically looked. Just because हम subscription model का मतलब है, इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि आप हमसे सवाल ना पूछें, इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि हम बिल्कुल ही perfect God मतलब material हैं. But it is the closest you can come to independent, most independent that I feel you can be, and I have felt that personally. I've worked before with Business Standard, I've worked with DNA. The kind of pressure that advertisements can bring on you, and this is not, you have so many examples of that, right? If you do a piece or if you do multiple reports on mishandling of COVID in a particular state, वो state आपको ad देना बंद कर देगा. State government will stop giving you ad. अगर आपने कोई बहुत ही investigative story कर दी against the central government, first thing is कि drop ads. तो carrot and stick approach news governments use करती हैं for every news कि अगर आपने हमारी वाहवाही करी तो चलो इतने सारे करोड़ों में आपको ad मिलते हैं. You can run your business. अगर आपने हमारे कुछ भी हमारे खिलाफ बोला तो हम बिल्कुल ही वो pipeline बंद कर देंगे. You'll struggle for funds. So that is not a pressure that Newslaundry deals with. So I think it's a very close to perfect model on subscription. But of course, we're open to listening to what you guys have to feel, what you guys say about that. I hope that answered your question, Priyanshu. And good you asked that, because with this whole Soros Media thing, there's so many people, misinformed about this. So you should read that article of ours to be clear. Okay. What is your take on Republic meltdown? I think Abhinandan had the best take on it. This is the best way to respond to something so silly as that. I think a lot of unsubstantiated stuff was said on that show, which is very wrong. I think it's one thing to be partisan, it's one thing to support the BJP, but you can't just randomly say कि न्यूज़ लॉन्ड्री में इतना पैसा आ रहा है सोरोस से. मतलब this is just lies, right? And it's verifiable. We are a private limited company, so you can go on our MCA, on the MCA website, you can take out all the documents, you can see कहाँ से investment आया है. You can see our own report. तो ऐसे ही झूठ बोल देना कि यहाँ से पैसा आ रहा है, वहाँ से पैसा आ रहा है, is very irresponsible and wrong of Arnab, very bad Arnab. But Arnab is Arnab. I mean, we know what he did with Sushant Singh Rajput case. I mean, I just keep like to repeating the fact that for 3 months, he kept saying it's murder, he kept saying it's murder. He accused everyone left, right and center, viciously attacked people from Karan Johar to Bollywood gang to Ria, and completely spread lies about someone, something so serious, something so tragic, without any remorse. So ये तो बहुत छोटी चीज़ है. न्यूज़ लॉन्ड्री को कभी नक्सल बोल दिया, कभी ISI का कुछ बोल दिया, तो that's just, I think that's his formula. But you guys should know that every news organization, especially if you're a private limited, you can get all the details of investments with that company. It's not a state secret. It's not कि छुप छुप के पैसा आएगा और किसी को पता नहीं चलेगा. Everyone knows. And okay, so can you cover the nuisance in Parliament and corresponding? Corresponding nuisance. What is your opinion on Chairman RS appointing personal staff to the Parliamentary Standing Committee? Yeah, we will. I think next week the Parliament session starts. So we will cover that. We'll see what happens there. I think also this Delhi liquor quote-unquote scam is really picking up. There have been arrests and that the Deputy CM has been arrested. K. Kavita from the BRS is being questioned today. So that is also something that we can pick up. Siddharth Yadav says, hi Manisha, what's your view on Prashant Kishore's Jan Suraj Yatra? Do you think there will be any impact on politics of Bihar? I think there are already so many big players and such seasoned players in Bihar politics and BJP as a party, Nitish's party, and so I think Prashant Kishore's entry, especially as he's been a strategist for so long. He's not really been the face of an election. So while people tend to really sometimes I think exaggerate and say it's just Prashant Kishore magic, it's he's just making everything work for parties. The fact is also that a lot of the parties that have won, like TMC for example, it's a very strong cadre based party. TMC cadre is very strong in West Bengal. Mamata Banerjee herself is a very charismatic leader. She's very popular with the women voters there. I mean, when I went to rallies in Bengal, I was surprised and shocked at how the women outnumbered men. And so it was also one of the very few political rallies to attend where I felt very safe, even in large crowds, because it was just women everywhere. So she has a huge base with women, and of course political consultants can come up and help you with what you're good at, amplify what you're good at, do that social media fight for you, but they can't make a dud politician win. I think it's got a lot to do with the cadre and the party, as you saw in the UP when Akhilesh and Rahul Gandhi came together and Prashant Kishore was in charge. We saw the results of that. So I think as a strategist is very different because you already have a popular face that you can work with. Whereas you being the face yourself is very different. So we have to see whether Prashant Kishore's face or his presence or his rallies can have that kind of impact on people, because he's relatively unknown face in that sense. He's not a political figure. I don't know if people line up to listen to his bhashan. But I also think he's going to be there for the long run. And anyone who wants to be in politics has to really think of the long haul and the long run. It can't be just drop in and drop out. So a lot has to be seen, but I think it's very early to even consider him as an important player in Bihar politics right now. He may be an influencer, a strategist who knows a lot, but as a face, what I mean to say is a face, it's too early to say ki kya hoga. Sherlock Holmes says, "Hamara anchor kaisa ho, Manisha Pandey jaisa ho." Thank you, Sherlock Holmes. Rushabh Shah says, "Do you guys feel that because you're satire news style, most people don't take you seriously and don't consider you as news source?" all your fact check, don't read. Yeah, that can be a bit of a thing because sometimes when we're using humor or satire, a lot of people may think कि comedy कर रहे हैं, कुछ serious नहीं कर रहे हैं. तो nuisance के format में हम थोड़ा सा we've tried to change that. You know, while we do the fun stuff, we also try and give you information. Like, please watch the BBC episode where we went into a bit of detail of BBC's history in India. Adani episode where we talked about, you know, explaining to you what the issue was. So, with nuisance, at least what we are trying to do is, while we do the fun stuff, we do the satire and humor, we also try and give you information on what the news is. Maybe going ahead, we can also wrap the news up for you, like just tell you like 10 important things that happened in the week. Maybe you guys like that idea of just doing some important news of the week so that you get some information also. और ऑल्सो न्यूज़ लॉन्ड्री में सिर्फ न्यूसेंस और टिप्पणी नहीं है. अगर आप हमारे ग्राउंड रिपोर्ट सेगमेंट में जाएं तो हमने बहुत ग्राउंड रिपोर्ट्स करी हैं जो बहुत सीरियस है. उसमें कोई मजाक नहीं कर रहा है, कोई फ़न नहीं कर रहा है. हमारे रिपोर्टर्स हैं जो जाके बहुत अच्छी ग्राउंड रिपोर्टिंग कर रहे हैं. जैसे कि अभी काऊ विजिलेंटे केस जो हरियाणा में हुआ, हाथरस की जो रिपोर्ट जो जजमेंट आया उस पर आकांक्षा का एक रिपोर्ट है. तो वो बहुत सीरियस सटीक ground reporting it. So you can go to our ground reports tab and watch that and spread the word also. Arnab's pant up to his neck. This is from Abhinandan's episode. Hi Manisha, I see news organizations starting their podcast like ANI The Hindu. Do you think they're entering area of competitive advantage NL has projected for a long time? For sure, like we have no space to be lax because everyone's getting into podcasts now. Though we do have an edge because we started in 2014 when no one was even thinking of podcasts. So we have a lot of stuff way before them. Even when it comes to subscription, now people talk about subscription, लेकिन हम 2014 से subscription, pay to keep news free बोल रहे हैं. बहुत time से बोल रहे हैं. But you're right. We have to be cognizant of the fact that a lot of people are getting in the podcast space, interview, video format space. A lot of people are getting in satire space also, not journalists, but a lot of YouTube content creators. So we have to keep up with it and we have to keep doing better. And so give us your suggestions on how we can be better. Any more questions coming our way? Shark Tank, I don't watch Shark Tank, sorry. But my husband watches a lot, he's very addicted to it. So I just go out of the room whenever he's watching it. Do NL don't find masses as I think you're asking how do we get mass subscriptions. So our thing is also that look, we don't need mass in the sense that we need it's okay to have slow growth and steady growth. We need people to keep coming back to us again and again. So ऐसे Times of India जैसे 30 editions तो नहीं है उनके. I think they have, last I checked, I think they had 18, but we're not doing that. We are okay with growing slowly, but doing relevant work, important work, and more than a large mass of people suddenly coming to us. We want engaged audience that comes to us. भले ही आप कम लोग हैं लेकिन आप हमारे कंटेंट के साथ बहुत इंगेज करें, आप लोगों के साथ शेयर करें, आप हमसे बात करें, हमें बताएं क्या अच्छा है क्या बुरा है. So that is our game. We really want an engaged viewership that can help us grow, you know, have more subscribers. If you can't subscribe, convince other people to subscribe. The only reason why you shouldn't subscribe is if you're a student and if you're not earning, that I understand. But if you're earning and if you have the money, then please subscribe to News Laundry because it will go a long way in helping us grow, do better work. It's very important in this current climate. We saw this week what Rumours can do. What fake news can do. So we are at the forefront of fighting that. We are at the forefront of fighting a lot of the hate and division that unfortunately mainstream television news channels are spreading. So to help that fight, you must support us, and of course also for our ground reports. That is the backbone of a lot of work we do. आज ही हमने शाह डंडारिया जो कि अदानी ग्रुप के ऑडिटर हैं उन पे एक बहुत अच्छी स्टोरी डाली है, बसंत कुमार ने करी है. इट्स अप ऑन आवर हिंदी वेबसाइट एंड इंग्लिश वेबसाइट. प्लीज़ पुट द लिंक. द हिंडनबर्ग फाइल्स, क्यूरियस केस ऑफ अदानीज न्यू ऑडिटर. ये ऑडिटर काफ़ी न्यूज़ में थे बिकॉज हिंडनबर्ग ने बोला था कि इनके कुछ जो auditors हैं, they are very young and they are signing off on very complicated deals and on auditing, and maybe they are not really fit enough. So who is this auditor? We went all the way to Gujarat. Basant went all the way to Gujarat, went to their offices, found out more about this auditor. So you can read that report on newslaundry.com. And what was I talking about? Ground reports. Ground reports are very important to us. So we have this like one report which is by Basant, which has gone up. If you go to newslaundry.com, हमारा हिंदी वेबसाइट है, इंग्लिश वेबसाइट है, दोनों हैं. सो उसमें हम काफ़ी ग्राउंड से स्टोरीज करने की कोशिश करते हैं जितना हम कर सकते हैं. अभी हमारा ऑफिस दिल्ली में ही है. सो वी आर अनेबल टू कवर द इंटायर कंट्री, बट इफ़ वी हैव सब्सक्राइबर्स बैकिंग अस, देन वी कैन होपफुली have a reporter in each state and cover India. Okay, my internet is just very slow. Which internet are we on here? NL guest? NL. So let me just see some last few questions. It's 12:10. We'll wrap up in 5 minutes. We'll wrap up at 12:15. If you have any more questions, please send. Please remember to subscribe to News Laundry, guys, and tell us how you think. What do you think about this live format? Do you like? Do you enjoy watching it? Do you think we should do more of it? Do you think we should do less of it? So tell us. Sports Fanatic says, I love Indian Express Explained and editorial sections. I also love Indian Express Explained. I think it's very good. Do a very good job of explainers. I like the paper as such. I subscribe to it. I read it every morning. Hindu, Indian Express, and Times also. I like to read their city news. Prem Prakash is saying Atul's interview with Amritpal was good stuff. Yes, please watch it. It's for subscribers only. Do watch it. Kunal is saying please keep one-line questions while taking interviews. Okay, I'll convey it to everyone. कि एक line से ज़्यादा बड़बड़ मत करो. I'll tell everyone. My super chat was Miss Sachin Gupta. Can we check if he sent a question? Really enjoyed this session. All NL anchors should do it. Hindi वाले भी करेंगे. Yes. Manisha, what's your take on right wing gaining more relevance intellectually? Are they gaining relevance intellectually? That's the question to be asked. At least popularly, what I see, I don't think so. Also, you have to define who a right-wing intellectual is, because some people who may be centre or centre-right are not really recognized as intellectuals in the right-wing ecosystem. They are too left. So, yeah. But yeah, mention a few right-wing influences and then I can, intellectuals, and then I can tell you what I think about them. I love, okay, Indian Express हो गया. ये super chat जिनका हमने miss करा है, anything? We don't know, Sachin. We can't, my team is saying that they don't really know what you've asked for or what questions. If you can just please bring Raman sir for NL version of Cut the Clutter. Okay, he's very averse to videos, so I don't know if he'll do it, but we can definitely tell him ki bhai, can you at least do a podcast version, if not a video version. He's not very fond of video. Maybe you can give him a topic and once in a while he can talk at least on audio. I think someone has sent that, no? Is it Chirag? Chirag has said Jantar Mantar. Usually there are many protests with people coming from all over India. Why does NL not once a month do a Jantar Mantar roundup to tell what's up India? They need media attention. So very nice idea for a series. Thank you. I'll discuss that. Yeah, once a month we can do What's Up India is a fun name also. So it's fun. Let me just, yeah, I'll float that. Do you get depressed by watching Daily News Tamasha? Yes and no also, because I have a really good team that works with me and we have a lot of fun and laughter and jokes. It's a bit of a pain sometimes watching too much of it. That's why I took a break and I took a holiday, because it's important for my mental health also to just take a break every time from television news. But we have a very good team that works very hard, and so it's always fun working with them. And maybe next Newsance we can do with the whole team. You can meet the entire team. So next live that we'll do with the entire team. So you can ask questions to all the researchers and the producers and the editors who work very hard to bring you this show. That's it, guys. I think we can wrap this up. Please bring back Sansad Watch show. We'll have to find a replacement for Meghnad. So right now you can see him on Newsance, his guest appearances. But if and when we find someone who can replace him, we would also love to start Sansad Watch. It was a very, very valuable show to my mind. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. Tayyab was I saying Newslaundry student subscription isn't active for a long time. Look into the matter. Mailed several times. Shwet, can you please make a note of that? So we'll make a note of that student subscription. We'll check that. Okay. Last question. I'm just taking. Someone called Veteran Drunkard is saying, why don't you convert NL to non-profit? Do you get benefit of no tax? No, we are a private limited. We're very happy being a private limited. And that's a question. You can, when you join, become a subscriber and you come for a NL Baitak and you're a game changer, you can ask the CEO of Newslaundry, Abhinandan, straight away. What is the logic of being a private limited and not a non-profit? So he will tell you. He will be more qualified to answer that question to you. But no Veteran Drunkard. For now, we are a private limited and we remain that. Become a subscriber and find out from Abhinandan himself why we are a private limited. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. I hope you enjoyed this little session of ours. We will be back next week with our regular programming with a full-blown proper nuisance show. So stay tuned. Share our episodes, please. It's very important कि nuisance के episodes आप like करो, share करो. हमको grow करना है और हमारा growth हमारा थोड़ा stuck हो गया है. हम 500 maximum 500 तक जाते हैं, उसके बाद आगे नहीं जा रहे हैं. कुछ episodes have hit 1 million, but we really want कि नया audience हमें मिले, लोग हमें discover करें. तो please हमारे videos जो भी आप देखते हो, regularly जो भी देखते हैं, please share. It's very important. Small thing for you, big thing for us. Share and please like. Please like our videos, because the more you like it, the more we grow. It's very important. It is very, very, very important. So my request this weekend from all of you is just like our nuisance episodes. It will really help us reach more people. Tell us what you love about us. Tell us what you hate about us. Become a subscriber of Newslaundry. Become a part of our community of people who want to keep news free and serve public interest. Thank you so much, guys. Have a very happy weekend. Have a happy Saturday and a happy Sunday, and see you next week.